All right, cool. So we're live now. I'm just gonna take a moment to get the chat. Or sorry, get a link and
So
throw a link on the forums.
how often do you do podcasts?
Never anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was doing this for a bit with some people from sporting events, who were like talking sports. Like one dude was like a college line coach, and like some other people were um, Baba Fitos was one that we did it with, who's just kind of an overall poker player, and just like well-known 2+2 person. But then we did a couple other ones, and they were going, I think, pretty well. But I just kind of got busy, to be honest.
I see.
Um, oh, you know what? I can actually embed this. Let me embed this. Um,
Oh man.
all right, so we're live, but I mean, people are gonna probably want to listen, so there'll be at least some people listening. So we'll just wait for them, and then the people that are listening to this on recording,
I mean,
apologies, but.
yeah, we should probably get to it. So, I mean, if they want to get in, they can get in or hear it later or whatever.
All right, cool. So I just posted it. All right, cool. So, all right, let's get started then. All right, so Babs, talk first off. There's been a lot of talk on the forums, a lot of different forums, over many years here. But not many people I feel like kind of know the person behind the online persona. So now that we have you here on a call, what are some things, if you were starting fresh right now and introducing yourself to an internet community, what are some of the things that you would want to bring to the table in terms of who you are and what you're about?
Well, I would say just sports knowledge and the passion for sports and an understanding of sports history. And just, I've always been extremely into sports, especially Bay Area sports. And that's really what brought me into the entire sports betting scene, as well as sports betting and online communities. Now, sometimes obviously the talk gets diverted into various, topics or whatnot, but that's basically what I'm all about.
So there was a time before sports, when you're doing a job working in a collections place and kind of interested in sales type stuff. Talk a little bit about that. Had that been the kind of thing you were doing for a while before? What were kind of some of the jobs like before you got into sports here?
Yeah, I have several jobs working at collection agencies as sales. I've actually excelled in those fields in the past, but it's not really ever been a matter of production for me, more so as just an issue with dealing with certain authority type figures. That's always been the main issue for me as far as butting heads with fellow employees and whatnot. So
So
basically, I proceeded to search for something that's up my alley and in my field that in my heart I know I can excel in, that I've proven I have excelled in. If you look at the entire picture.
mhm.
But yet, that I know it's really easy for people to say certain things and being negative Nancy or whatnot on the forum, or just hate on someone or want to see them fail because of some negative interaction, or who knows what's going on in someone's head. But I basically what it comes down to, it's a competitiveness in me that I know exists, that I know will bring out the best in me, and I know what I'm capable of accomplishing. And if given a chance to just maintain my focus on that and continue, I know that I will see extremely positive results.
Okay, so let's just go backwards here a little bit. So you mentioned in sales jobs specifically that you excelled. So I had a pretty good year last year, in doing sales. My total was seven figures last year in sales. What's a good year for you from a sales perspective? What does
Uh,
excelling look like?
well, I would just say leading the team that you're working with is a good place to start, and that's where I was at. It wasn't a company quite up to that tier where there was even that much of a money making opportunity. But at the same
So,
time, I
so
did.
talk about it. So these were collections type gigs. What's I've never done this before. It's something I've always been fascinated with, because
Sure.
I know people who have done it, and I've there's been threads on people who have run these companies, and it seems like a pretty straightforward thing, right? There's like sources that you can buy debt from, or you can, maybe you're somehow in the business that you have debt of your own, and you want to collect it. But it's a pretty straightforward industry in terms of you have a source that you go after, and then you have kind of a strategy that you go for. What was the profile of the types of people you were going after? Were these the same people you saw over and over, or was the debt very varied?
Well, we actually collected for several clients. Some of them in the medical field, some banks, some personal. So we had a variety of clients. As far as new accounts coming in, we would constantly have new accounts and update the system. So no, we didn't work the same accounts repeatedly.
So what kind
But
of
yeah,
talk to me about like your day starts, right? You come in, I know you're making a couple hundred calls a day, which is pretty fierce. And you're following up with a lot of people. But talk to me about like from the first start, like someone who you end up closing. What's the situation typically like? Like walk me through. Obviously, it's anonymous and all, but walk me through just like a standard. Lead comes in, you follow it up, you finish it, you quote close it, or you collect on it. What's the kind of walk me through that process?
well, collections is a type of sales in which you're ascertaining the other person's attitude. You're kind of ascertaining what avenue do I need to take in order to get this person to pay their bill. Obviously, you're going to talk to several different types of people. So you're not going to use the same method on each person. So the first step is to figure out, what kind of debt, what kind of person am I dealing with? What's my best method for trying to collect this debt? And certain methods work well with certain people. Certain methods do not work well with certain people.
So let's get a little more specific. Like what are these people and what are the methods?
Well, for example, some people ask for a little bit more of a firm hand. The guy who's driving his car. You tell him, okay, this is a debt that we need to get taken care of. It's been in collections for a while. It's damaging your credit. Are you able to take care of this right now?
And is that the line that you mostly went with, that it's damaging their credit?
If they ask, yeah, I wouldn't really volunteer that information in the beginning. But if they would ask, obviously, I would divulge that. Yeah, and that's a tool that you can use in getting people to pay their bills for sure.
Okay. And what other than your credit might be injured, that you're not gonna be able to get another car. Are there any other tricks of the trade that you would tell someone? Say someone was starting off in a collection job, their first job was Monday. What were the 5 things you tell that person?
I would say it's like baseball. If you're batting 300, you're doing good. You're going to fail more often than not. You just got to keep going at it.
And what are some of the most common excuses that you heard from people?
I'm just not able to take care of this right now. I'm not working. I paid this already. Now everyone's always paid their bill, of course. Okay. Well, do you have a confirmation number? Did it appear on your bank statement? When did you pay it? Tell us something. Give us some information to work with so we can go back to the client and claim it was paid. If we just went to the client and told them every single account was paid when people are claiming that, we'd be bombarding them. We wouldn't be working for them at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go into some other topics then. Seems like you answered those pretty well. I appreciate that. How are the turtles doing?
They're doing fine. They're doing really good. They just had hatchlings, as a matter of fact.
So how many turtles do you have now?
There's 5 of them now. I'm stuck with a family of turtles. It's getting out of hand.
Did you watch the turtles have sex?
No, I did not. As far as I know, they don't even do it that way. They just lay eggs. The female lays fertilized eggs, I believe.
How do the turtles' eggs get fertilized?
I'm not even sure how all that works, man. I don't know. I'm not an observer. So whatever they did, and it worked.
Do you shut the lights off for them? The
lights
do. Like porno music or anything like that at night to try and help the turtles out? Is there anything
I can't
you
say
drop
that
liquor in the water?
No. They're naturally. There's some kind of natural aphrodisiac in the water, I believe.
So do you still have fish in the water as well?
There's a few in there, yeah.
How many fish have died? Be honest.
One.
I know they died.
The big orange one. When I left for a few days and I came back and there was no trace of him, I looked around and it was gone. There was nothing there. It was as if he never existed, and they shredded him and ate him because they got hungry, I think.
Are the fish intentionally there as food for the turtles?
Yeah, but these guys are lazy. They just let them chill in there. They don't even go after them really.
Do you have to feed the turtles as well, or do you just let them kind of eat the fish when they get hungry?
I feed them. I feed them daily.
Okay.
Got to.
And then, so eating the fish.
Yeah, a million questions. What is this? I thought we were going to talk about why this is not a scam.
Well, we will get to that. We'll get to that, but you have to understand. I mean, there's a long history here of
Long history of turtles, and this is pretty irrelevant stuff.
Well, there's a long history in the thread of stuff that people want to know. I mean, I would like to ask all of these things about betting sports, but unfortunately, we have some other people that have asked questions.
Well, why are we accommodating people who go around accusing me of things that they don't even know what they're talking about?
So what are the things that you've been accused of?
No, okay. Another thing, I find it's astonishing. It's just truly astounding. I find things about myself that I've never even known. I found out I was in prison before. I found out things about myself every day on that forum.
So hold on.
The amount of nonsense that people post, it's unfathomable.
So let's just
hold on. People are claiming that I went ahead and altered my records. I never did that. Every single game on there is posted as it is.
On February 1st, right? With the website.
No, we actually put what can't even really be called a website. There was something there up like at the end of January, and then February 2nd was the day we built the pick archive. I was anxious to get it going as soon as possible. If I would have had it my way, we would have started mid-January.
So if I showed you a screenshot from February 1st of 3 picks up there, what would you say?
February 1st, I would say that did not exist. We never put that up. That's a completely fabricated thing.
Okay, but what if I showed you it from like from the Internet Archive? Which is the website.
It's not possible because it never existed. I know for a fact we never deleted a single pick on there. If you have such a thing, it's been fabricated. You can ask my associate.
No, but I'm not saying like someone fabricated it. I'm saying that like there's screenshots and there's caches on the internet, right? So like whenever anything gets published on the internet, web crawlers go out and they find it, because when you're publishing something on the internet, it's inherently public. And
yeah, for a while.
What do you mean?
Well, until you go ahead and tell them, put the Google removal tool on there.
No, so I'm not talking about anything to do with Google. No. I'm talking about like in general right now. Like if I personally were to write a script that saves nemadamus.com every day, you don't have any ability to stop me from saving that.
Okay, that's great. So anyway, that's great. So what are you getting at anyway? What's with that question? Because are you insinuating that yes, there were picks that were deleted? Because that never happened. I'm 100% certain that never happened.
You know what? If that's the record, we can go on that, and we'll leave it that on February.
No, that's the truth. That's not it. That's not what I'm telling. There were never picks, and I'm sure there's people that can testify to this that were paying attention on those days. Okay. They might lie for all I know, because I heard someone today say that I manipulated those picks. So someone who had absolutely no clue what he was talking about just goes on there and claims that I was manipulating my picks and my record, when that is not the case. Every single pick I've made since the site went up is up there, and it's a record of 41 and 23 or something like that, I believe, plus like 17 units. That's variance, though. That's variance. I'm just really lucky. When I focus, I got lucky in Nevada last year too for like 2 months and hammered them for like $5,000 betting baseball. That was luck too.
So let's just stop though for a second, because I feel like we've kind of we're already kind of talking about like meta topics and like topics that kind of speak upon other things. I want to ask you to introduce this to someone who has never interacted with you on the internet, in any of your dozens of personalities and screen names and different sites. Just no one has any recollection.
I don't know what you mean.
Wiper here. We're talking about just like someone brand new who's never, a friend of El Diablo who he's just brought in. What would you describe as the current situation and what it is people are accusing you of, and what you are? Not that you are this, but in your words, how do you feel as the victim?
I have a pretty good idea that people are aware of the situation. I think because of the negative interaction.
I'm curious to find out.
I think that's fine. That's fine.
You know what I mean?
Hold on. So what I know is that these people are going too far, and they know what really the situation is in actuality is.
What is this from your perspective? I'm just you can.
They know that I'm
just curious what it is.
They know that if I go ahead and release picks, I can hit it damn near a high enough percentage, or probably outdo anyone out there. Or maybe they don't believe that.
Okay.
But they know that I certainly do not deserve to be outed as a scammer, as they are claiming, because I'm selling picks when people that are buying the picks are actually ahead money. Why
So
would you go after someone with a winning record? Why not go after one of the touts with a losing record? Are you kidding me?
so what is your record right now?
It's like 42-23 or something since,
And
and
what
that's
types
something
of
that's only going to get better when
and
baseball starts.
what types of games are you betting right now?
College basketball, NBA, and that's it for now. I
And
don't
so
bet hockey. I never got into hockey.
and so you mentioned at a time you had a system that was based on numbers and math. I'm guessing that that's kind of a
Yes,
simple
there really was.
to-
There really was. If you want, I'll explain to you the foundation of it right now.
Sure.
Okay? It was based on a reverse line movement system. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with reverse line movement or not, but
So
that was
I'm
the
not familiar. So if you can describe that, would be helpful even for me, because I'm not sure even what I mean. Let me try and guess. Right. So a reverse line movement, I'm guessing, is when obviously the line has to move, and the
Yes.
line moves in an opposite direction.
Exactly. In the opposite direction as what it should. Let's say the Panthers and Broncos game started at a pick 'em, let's say, just for the sake of simplicity. Okay.
And I believe you were pretty heavy on the Panthers that game, right?
Not really heavy, just all the plays are 1 units. But yeah, Panthers, yeah. That was a bad one. But in any case, let's say for example it comes out as a pick 'em, and then you have 75 or 80% of the one side on the Panthers, let's say. So the line, where's the line supposed to go? Do you know the answer to that?
Sorry, I was just zoning out. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so if it's Panthers and Broncos and it's a pick 'em, and 80% of the money is on the Broncos, what direction should the line be moving in?
The line should be favoring the Panthers, of course.
Did I say 80% on the Panthers or did I say Broncos?
You said 80% on the Broncos.
Okay, then it would be -1 on Broncos.
Yeah, they would try and balance it so that the books would want the Panthers
More
side.
money on the Panthers. Yeah. So reverse line movement is when everyone and their mom is slamming the Panthers, but the line moves to the other side.
Is this like a sexual slamming?
No, it's not a sexual slamming at all. No.
Okay, so how do you see how many people are making these bets?
You can use several sites. One is called pregame.com, Sportsbook Spy. Another one is Scores and Odds, VegasInsider.com. Scores and Odds is better than Vegas Insider, and I would say pregame is the best.
And so you watch the volume of bets essentially as they come in?
You don't have to sit there and watch it. You can just check it like a couple hours before game time,
Okay.
But yeah, that's one method. That's one method that people utilize.
So I'm not very good at this. I've bet sports, and even way back when I was in high school, I took bets on sports, but I never did anything this advanced. But it seems like
this is part of the problem is no one there really even knows sports betting. As far as I know, most of these people are poker players.
Well, one of the issues though is even
it's funny because people talk about hold on. People talk about bankroll management and this and that, and they claim they understand variance and they claim they understand bankroll management. But yet, if a sports bettor,
has no offense, but this isn't what people are listening in for. They don't really give a shit about your definition of bankroll management. What I'm curious about is if you're saying, right, that it's a pick 'em and 80% of the money is on one side, the Broncos, then, obviously there's an imbalance there and the line should move and it doesn't, and then you go after that. So when you think of levels of analyzation and numbers and math, you don't really crack really obvious thinking there using a system like that. Doesn't something like that concern you?
I said that's the foundation of the system. That's the foundation of
it.
It's not the entire thing.
So then what? Okay, so we've got the foundation. So what's the next? What then kind of plugs into that? Because it seems like to me
it would take way too long it would take way too long to explain to people that have no clue what I'm talking about. So it's just not even really worth getting into. But when I say it's based on numbers, it absolutely was. And this is the entire point. People sit there and they act like they know everything and they assume things, and it's really funny
to explain
because none of you guys really know anything.
You're covering your steps right now, aren't you? Though, because you explained a system that's incredibly simple.
That's not the system. That's the foundation of the system. That's the foundation of it. That's not the system.
Okay, but if I said to you that I have a sales system that works, and my sales system is making 50 dials a day and then saying the right thing. And you said, okay, well, what's the right thing? And I said, well, you wouldn't understand it. Just because I say you make 50 dials doesn't mean that the rest of the thing makes sense. You know what I mean? Just because you have a foundation that's completely obvious and simple, that doesn't really give credit to the system being based on anything.
It's just one variable in that equation.
So you said though that you were willing to describe what the system was.
Yeah, that's the foundation of it. It is based on numbers and math. There's other variables, and that's just the first step, though. That was the first thing, and that system hit well for a while, and then it started to maybe regress to the mean or whatnot.
But can't you see though why people would be skeptical that your system's actually based on numbers and math?
How can you argue with 40 and 23? Like, what are you guys? Is that luck?
So are you implying that the 40 and 23 now? Are you implying that that's based on numbers and math as well?
No, I'm not at all. Because for the most part, the system is not even being utilized anymore. Now I'm just going off games that I'm handicapped. Yeah.
It sounded like for a moment there that you were explaining that the reason you wouldn't describe the system is because it had good results, and that should speak for itself. But I must just have been confused there for a moment. So can you give
in any case, the long-term numbers are going to speak for themselves. You know, people are free. It's fine to be skeptical. If I was in your shoes, I might be skeptical. You guys don't know me as well as you think you do. You sit there and you assume that this and that, you know, this guy is not going to win handicapping in the long run. I assure you, I can and I will. It's certain. So if you don't believe me, feel free to go pop into the site and take a look every now and then.
Okay, so. One other question is, so in terms of bankroll management, et cetera, what do you feel is a realistic sample size for the types of games that you're betting right now?
I would say a few seasons of Major League Baseball is good, and I have that. I had a thread back in 2010 that Micro Bob deleted that I think finished over 250 units. That was like 65%. There's been a couple others with similar results. I had an account at Pick Monitor that put up similar results. I've had bouts in Nevada where I won, several thousands of dollars betting baseball. I know for a fact what I'm capable of. People who say things just focus on the negative, mainly because of our negative.
So when you say that you need several seasons, how can anyone trust the current record? Looks like we lost him. Let me see. I'll try and get him back. Sorry, everyone, if you're still listening to this. It's just me. That was pretty great, though, hearing him describe that. Sorry if I got too cringy there, if I went a little too hard at him. He just kind of doesn't really want to talk about too much. Looks like he might be trying to dial in. And it looks like that was the last word we're getting from our buddy Babs. Yeah, I'm trying to call him back now, but he doesn't seem to be answering. Yeah, he seemed to start to describe a whole lot of nonsense, and then he left. See, this is why I was talking about the sales stuff at first. You gotta sweeten people up first before you just lay into them. Fired off another one at him. Let's see. seeing why he hung up. I mean, I've sent him 2 invites before this, and he responded to both of them immediately. So doesn't seem to be a technical issue, surprisingly. Yeah, I think Pav's got his internet snapped off. Well, I